Time is the most valuable currency you'll ever own. You can lose money and earn it again, but the seconds that pass will never return. Yet most people treat time as if it were endless, wasting it on distractions, meaningless conversations, and temporary pleasures that offer no growth. They underestimate how much life can change when every minute has purpose. The truth is, how you use your time defines who you become. If you learn to control your time, you learn to control your destiny. Every successful person in history has one thing in common. They understood the value of time long before they had success. They didn't wait for motivation. They built discipline. They didn't complain about how little time they had. They learned to make the most of what they did have. The problem isn't that life is short. It's that we waste so much of it on things that don't matter. We scroll endlessly, procrastinate endlessly, and chase comfort endlessly. But success is never found in comfort. It's built in focus. If you spend your time chasing what's urgent, you'll never have time for what's important. Every day gives you 24 hours, but not all hours are equal. Some hours change your life, while others drain your potential. The difference lies in how you choose to spend them. People who think correctly guard their time the same way they guard their dreams. They say no to distractions, no to negativity, and no to anything that doesn't align with their goals. They know that every yes to something meaningless is a no to something meaningful. Think about how easily time slips away. You start your day with energy and promise, but by evening you've spent hours doing things that don't move you forward. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow turns into next week, next month, next year. Time doesn't wait for anyone. It quietly passes, taking your opportunities with it. You can't control how much time you have, but you can control how you use it. The people who achieve the most in life are not the busiest. They are the most intentional. The way you spend your time reflects how you value yourself. If you treat your time carelessly, it's often because you haven't recognized your worth. When you start seeing your life as valuable, every minute becomes sacred. You stop giving your time to people who drain your energy, to habits that steal your focus, and to fears that stop your progress. You begin to live deliberately. You realize that wasting time is the same as wasting potential. The most powerful thing you can do today is take back ownership of your hours. There are only two kinds of people, those who let time control them and those who control time. The first group always feels overwhelmed, always rushing, always behind. The second group creates structure. They prioritize, plan, and act. They don't wait for the perfect moment because they understand that time is never perfect. It's simply passing. They build momentum by doing small things consistently. They understand that one focused hour every day can change their entire future. If you want to change your life, stop saying, I don't have time. The truth is, time is not missing. It's just misused. Everyone has the same 24 hours. It's how you choose to invest them that makes the difference. Replace 1 hour of entertainment with 1 hour of learning. Replace 1 hour of doubt with 1 hour of action. Replace 1 hour of waiting with 1 hour of creating. Over time, these choices compound. What feels small today becomes powerful tomorrow. Discipline is the guardian of time. Without discipline, every plan fades into distraction. You can have goals, dreams, and potential, but if you lack control over your time, none of it will materialize. Discipline means showing up even and you don't feel like it. It means focusing when the world tries to pull you away. It means saying no to what's easy so you can say yes to what's meaningful. Discipline transforms time from a passing moment into a building block of your legacy. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they have more time than they do. They plan for someday, but someday is not a day on the calendar. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Every minute you spend waiting is a minute someone else is using to grow. Time rewards the doers, not the dreamers. The best time to act, to learn, to build, to begin is always now. Your time is your life. If you want to predict your future, look at how you're spending your hours today. Are they filled with progress or procrastination, growth or excuses? Every day, life gives you the same question. How will you use your time? Those who answer with purpose create results. Those who answer with hesitation lose opportunities. The future belongs to those who respect time enough to act now, to focus now, and to build something that will outlast the hours they've been given. Time is the most valuable resource a person can ever have, yet it's the one most people treat with the least respect. We guard our money, our possessions, even our opinions, but we give away our time without hesitation. We say yes to things that don't move us forward. We waste hours on distractions that don't teach us anything, and we live as if there will always be more time waiting for us tomorrow. But the truth is, time is the one thing you can never earn back once it's gone. You can recover from failure, rebuild your wealth, and fix broken relationships, but you can never never reclaim a single lost second. Every moment that passes is gone forever, quietly shaping the story of your life, whether you realize it or not. People often believe that they have plenty of time to start later, to chase their dreams, to learn new skills, to become better versions of themselves. They tell themselves that there will be a better moment, a more convenient opportunity, a perfect time to be Jin, but perfection is an illusion, and waiting for it only steals the limited time you already have. The difference between people who achieve their dreams and those who only talk about them isn't intelligence, talent, or luck. It's how they treat time. Those who succeed see time as a currency they must spend wisely, while others spend it like it's endless. Every second you waste becomes a seed of regret waiting to grow in the future. Valuing time begins with awareness. You have to recognize how much of your day slips away unnoticed. The hours you lose to scrolling, gossiping, worrying, or hesitating may seem harmless in the moment, but they add up quietly. Each wasted minute becomes a missed opportunity to move closer to your goals. If you want to build something meaningful, you must start seeing time as the foundation of everything. It's the soil from which your results grow. You can't plant seeds of success in a field of wasted hours. The people who make progress are those who respect every minute, not those who wait for the perfect plan. When you truly understand the value of time, your behavior changes. You stop tolerating people and situations that drain your energy. You stop overcommitting to things that don't align with your vision. You stop saying yes out of guilt and start saying no out of purpose. Every yes you give must have meaning because each one costs you something irreplaceable, your time. Once you see time as your most precious asset, you begin to live differently. You make choices more carefully. You stop rushing, but you also stop wasting. You start living with urgency, not panic, with focus, not fear. It's not about working endlessly or filling every moment with activity. It's about intention. People mistake movement for progress and noise for achievement. You can be busy all day and still accomplish nothing that truly matters. Valuing time means being conscious about what you do and why you do it. It means spending your energy on things that bring you closer to growth, fulfillment, and purpose. It means recognizing that every decision you make with your time is either building your future or delaying it. The real cost of wasting time isn't lost productivity, it's lost potential. The moments you lose today could have been the ones that changed your life tomorrow. When you start valuing time, you start valuing life itself. You begin to measure your days not by how long they are, but by how meaningful they become. You start your mornings with purpose, knowing that every sunrise gives you a new chance to move forward. You stop complaining about not having enough time and instead start managing what you have. You realize that time management isn't about squeezing more tasks into your day. It's about eliminating what doesn't serve your purpose. The more you simplify your life, the more powerful each hour becomes. Time rewards clarity and punishes confusion. If you don't decide how to use your hours, someone else will decide for you. Every successful person, whether known or unknown, has learned to treat time as a sacred gift. They understand that while talent can give you an advantage, it's how you use your hours that determines your outcome. They make each moment count by acting with consistency. They turn ordinary days into stepping stones toward extraordinary results. When you begin to live this way, you start to feel a deep sense of ownership over your life. You stop blaming circumstances because you realize that time used correctly can transform any circumstance. It can rebuild, renew, and redefine your future if you learn to respect it. There is a quiet power in knowing that every minute matters. It keeps you awake to your purpose and grounded in your direction. Time doesn't shout, it whispers. It gives you endless chances to start over, but not endless chances to delay. Every day you wake up, you are given another deposit of 24 hours. How you spend that deposit determines the kind of life you'll live. Those who understand this truth don't rush through time. They rise with it. They don't wish for more hours. They use the ones they have with intensity, focus, and gratitude, knowing that every second spent with purpose builds a life that time itself can never erase. There's a difference between being busy and being productive, and it's a difference that defines how far you'll go in life. Most people confuse movement with progress. They fill their days with endless tasks, constant communication, and nonstop activity, believing that doing more means achieving more. But busyness is often just noise. It keeps you occupied, but not fulfilled. tired, but not closer to your goals. The world praises those who appear busy, but true success belongs to those who act with intention. It's not about how much you do, it's about how much of what you do truly matters. Time doesn't reward activity, it rewards clarity. When you replace busyness with intentional action, you begin to see life differently. You stop chasing every opportunity and start choosing only those that align with your vision. You stop saying yes to everything that looks appealing and start saying yes only to what serves your purpose. The person who focuses on everything achieves nothing, but the person who focuses on what matters achieves everything. Life is full of distractions that look like opportunities, and unless you have the discipline to focus on what truly counts, you'll waste your energy chasing things that don't move you forward. Intentional action means doing less, but doing it better, doing it with clarity, and doing it with purpose. Many people stay busy because they fear stillness, they fear reflection, they fear slowing down long enough to ask themselves whether what they're doing actually matters. But intentional living requires you to pause and question your actions. Why am I doing this? What will this lead to? How does this align with my goals? Without those questions, time slips away unnoticed, filled with meaningless tasks that create the illusion of productivity. The truth is, being busy feels safe. It keeps your mind distracted from your doubts, but it also keeps you from making real progress. Growth doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters most consistently. Intentional action demands clarity, and clarity requires awareness. You have to know where you want to go before you can direct your time effectively. You can't build a meaningful life on a foundation of random actions. Every great achievement in history was built by people who understood the value of focus. They didn't waste their time chasing every idea that appeared. They focused on one thing until it grew. When you think correctly, you realize that success is not about doing everything. It's about mastering the few things that truly matter. It's not about running faster. It's about running in the right direction. Busyness often hides fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of standing still. People stay busy to avoid facing what's not working. They fill their calendars to avoid confronting their own lack of direction. But busy days don't guarantee meaningful results. You can spend a lifetime working hard on the wrong things. You can wake up every day exhausted but unfulfilled. The moment you start acting intentionally, everything changes. Your time becomes powerful, your actions become aligned, you start building momentum that actually leads somewhere because every step has a purpose behind it. Intentionality turns effort into impact. The secret to transforming your time lies in simplicity. Choose what matters most and give it your full attention. Eliminate the unnecessary tasks that consume your energy but add no value. The more focused your schedule becomes, the more results you create. Intentional people don't rush through their days. They move with precision. They know that doing one meaningful thing with excellence is far more valuable than doing 10 things with distraction. They understand that saying no is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. Every no you give creates space for the right yes. Intentional action is about protecting your energy so it can serve your highest goals. When you replace busyness with intention, you start to experience a deep sense of control over your life. You stop feeling like time is slipping away and start realizing that you're directing it. You no longer feel like a passenger of your circumstances, but the driver of your destiny. You learn that success isn't a matter of how much time you have. It's about how intentionally you use it. Even 1 hour of focused action can achieve more than an entire day of scattered effort. The power of your time is multiplied when your mind is clear and your purpose is strong. People often look at highly successful individuals and think they must be working nonstop. But that's rarely true. The most successful people are not the busiest. They are the most selective. They know exactly what deserves their time and what doesn't. They make fewer decisions, but more meaningful ones. They understand that the quality of your focus determines the quality of your life. They've learned that time isn't meant to be filled. It's meant to be used. Every minute must have intention behind it, or it becomes just another wasted opportunity disguised as effort. Intentional living turns ordinary actions into extraordinary results. It teaches you to channel your energy into what builds your future rather than what fills your day. It forces you to prioritize growth over comfort, progress over distraction, and purpose over pressure. You begin to act with clarity, not chaos. You no longer measure success by how much you did today, but by how much of what you did actually mattered. You stop being busy surviving and start being intentional about living. Every decision, every task, every moment becomes part of a bigger vision, a life where your time serves your purpose, not your pressure. Distractions are the silent thieves of potential. They don't take your time all at once. They steal at peace. Failure is something most people fear from the very beginning. They are taught to avoid it, to see it as proof of weakness or as a sign that they are not good enough. But those who think correctly understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process that leads to it. Failure is not something to run from. It is something to study. It carries lessons that success can never teach. Every time you fail, you are being shown what doesn't work, what needs adjustment, and what must be improved. Failure is the mirror that reflects your gaps and your strengths. When you learn to face it with courage and curiosity, it becomes your greatest teacher. The problem is that most people take failure personally. They think failure means they are a failure. That's where they go wrong. Failure is an event, not an identity. It's a moment in your journey, not the definition of your worth. When something doesn't go as planned, the correct way to think is not "I failed," but "this method failed." That shift changes everything. It removes the emotion and brings clarity. It allows you to analyze the situation instead of drowning in disappointment. People who rise after failure are not luckier than others. They simply choose to see failure differently. When you redefine failure, you become fearless. You stop worrying about what others think. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You take action because you know that mistakes are not permanent damage. They are data. Every failed attempt is information about how to do it better next time. Every setback is feedback. The more you fail, the more information you gather, and the closer you get to success. That's how true progress happens. It's not through perfection, but through persistent adjustment. Failure also builds mental toughness. Each time you fall and get back up, you train your mind to handle pressure. You develop resilience, patience, and emotional strength. Success doesn't come to those who avoid pain. It comes to those who endure it, learn from it, and rise stronger. Every great person you admire has faced countless failures, but they kept going, not because they were never afraid, but because they learned to walk with fear instead of running from it. Correct thinking transforms failure into a training ground for greatness. The way you respond to failure determines how far you go. Some people give up at the first sign of difficulty. Others blame circumstances, luck, or people around them. But the ones who grow ask different questions. They ask, what went wrong? What can I change? What did I learn? Those questions open the mind while excuses close it. Failure only defeats those who stop asking questions. The moment you begin to reflect, analyze, and apply what you learned, failure starts working for you instead of against you. Failure also teaches you humility. It reminds you that no matter how smart or talented you are, there is always more to learn. It breaks your ego, and that's a good thing, because when ego dies, growth begins. People who think they already know everything stop progressing, but those who accept their mistakes and stay open to learning continue to evolve. Humility doesn't make you weak. It keeps you grounded, curious, and adaptable. Failure is life's way of keeping you real, of reminding you that mastery takes time, practice, and persistence. When you experience failure, it also reveals who you truly are. Some people pretend to be strong until things fall apart, but failure exposes your character. It shows whether you are driven by comfort or by commitment. Those who think correctly see failure as a test of faith. They don't lose confidence in themselves just because a plan failed. They trust that every setback is redirection, not rejection. As the plan doesn't work because life is guiding you towards something better. When you stop fighting failure and start listening to it, you discover wisdom you didn't know you had. Surviving, and start being intentional about living. Every decision, every task, every moment becomes part of a bigger vision, a life where your time serves your purpose, not your pressure. Distractions are the silent thieves of potential. They don't take your time all at once. They steal it piece by piece, minute by minute, thought by thought, until you realize hours have disappeared and nothing meaningful has been done. In today's world, distractions come disguised as entertainment, information, and even productivity. They make you feel busy while keeping you from being effective. Every time you lose focus, you lose momentum. And every time you lose momentum, you drift further from your purpose. Protecting your attention is no longer optional. It's the foundation of success. Your focus is your greatest power, and every distraction is a test of how much you value it. Most people underestimate how fragile focus really is. You can start your day with clear intentions, but a single message, a quick scroll, or an unplanned conversation can derail your direction completely. What makes distractions dangerous is not how loud they are, but how easily they disguise themselves as important. The moment you allow them to interrupt your flow, your mind loses its rhythm. Studies show that it can take several minutes to regain full concentration after even a small interruption. Multiply that by the number of distractions you face each day, and you begin to see how much of your life quietly slips away. The difference between average and exceptional people isn't the number of hours they work. It's how much of those hours remain undisturbed. Protecting your attention starts with awareness. You can't guard what you don't recognize. Ask yourself what steals your focus most often. It might be your phone, constant multitasking, unnecessary meetings, or people who demand your time without adding value. Once you identify your distractions, you gain the power to control them. The goal isn't to eliminate every distraction forever, that's impossible, but to create boundaries that protect your mental space. When you decide what deserves your attention, you stop reacting to everything around you. You begin to lead your time instead of chasing it. The human mind was not built to multitask the way modern life demands. Every time you switch tasks, your brain burns energy and loses depth. Multitasking gives you the illusion of efficiency, but in reality, it divides your power. The most productive people in the world don't juggle 1,000 things at once. They focus deeply on one thing until it's done. They understand that attention is like light. When it's scattered, it's weak. When it's concentrated, it's powerful enough to cut through anything. To protect your attention, you must train yourself to work with intensity and presence. Give your full energy to one task at a time, then move to the next with clarity. One of the greatest acts of self-discipline is learning to say no. To people, to opportunities, to habits that don't serve your purpose. Every yes has a cost, and that cost is your focus. Many people say yes out of guilt or fear of missing out, but every unnecessary commitment steals energy from what truly matters. Protecting your focus is not selfish. It's strategic. It's the only way to build something lasting. You have to decide whether you want to be liked by everyone or respected by yourself for staying true to your goals. Focus demands sacrifice. You can't chase everything and expect to go far. You have to choose. Your environment also plays a massive role in how well you protect your attention. Surroundings filled with noise, chaos, or distraction will constantly pull your mind away from purpose. The people you spend time with can either strengthen your focus or sabotage it. If you're always around those who waste time, complain, or stay distracted, you'll eventually mirror their habits. But if you surround yourself with people who value growth and concentration, your standards rise automatically. You begin to protect your time, not out of obligation, but out of identity. You become someone who simply doesn't tolerate wasted moments. Technology is both a tool and a trap. It can amplify your productivity or destroy your focus depending on how you use it. The same device that connects you to knowledge also connects you to endless distraction. Notifications are designed to hijack your attention, to make you react rather than think. One of the smartest things you can do for your mind is to create digital discipline. Turn off unnecessary alerts, schedule specific times for messages, and stop letting your phone dictate your day. Every time you reach for your device without intention, ask yourself if it's pulling you closer to your goals or further away. Focus also requires inner discipline. It's not just about controlling your environment, it's about mastering your thoughts. Distraction isn't only external, it's internal. Doubt, fear, and worry can steal your attention just as easily as a buzzing phone. You must learn to quiet the noise within you, to bring your thoughts back to the present moment. Whenever your mind drifts, remind yourself why you started. Purpose sharpens focus. When your reason is strong enough, distractions lose their power. Every great achiever understands this. Focus is not a skill you find. It's one you build through repeated practice. Protecting your attention is how you protect your future. Every great accomplishment in life begins with a period of deep focus. Every goal you've ever dreamed of requires time, energy, and concentration to grow. The more you allow distractions to take over, the longer it takes to build anything meaningful. But when you learn to value your attention more than your comfort, you begin to experience a different kind of power. The P discipline is the invisible bridge between goals and achievements, the quiet force that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Most people start with motivation, but motivation fades the moment challenges appear. Discipline, however, is what carries you through when the excitement is gone and the work feels heavy. It is not about being perfect. It is about showing up consistently even when you don't feel like it. Every day that you act with discipline, you build strength. Every moment you choose effort over excuses, you strengthen your character. Discipline turns time into progress and dreams into reality. And without it, even the best intentions fade into regret. Discipline begins with making a decision to take control of your time, your actions, and your thoughts. It means refusing to let emotions dictate your behavior. There will be days when you're tired, uninspired, or distracted. But discipline demands that you move forward anyway. It's easy to work when you feel inspired. The real test is whether you can work when you don't. Discipline doesn't ask if you're in the mood. It asks if you're committed. The people who achieve great things are not always the most talented, but they are the most consistent. They keep going when others stop. They understand that progress is not made in bursts of effort, but in the quiet repetition of daily discipline. The truth is, discipline is not natural for most people. It's trained. It grows stronger every time you keep a promise to yourself. Every morning you wake up and follow through on what you said you'd do, you build trust in yourself. That trust becomes confidence, and that confidence becomes momentum. Eventually, discipline becomes part of who you are, not something you force yourself to do. You begin to find satisfaction in the act of staying consistent. You stop seeking comfort and start seeking growth. You stop waiting for motivation and start relying on discipline as your guide. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Discipline also means learning to delay gratification. Most people want results without the process, success without the struggle, and rewards without the work. But life doesn't work that way. Every success is paid for in advance with discipline. You can't skip the process and expect the prize. The reason so few people achieve lasting success is that they quit when the reward isn't immediate. But those who think correctly understand that discipline is an investment. The time you put in today compounds into future results. Every day of effort builds upon the last. You may not see the progress right away, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. Discipline teaches patience, and patience produces power. There's a simple rule that governs success. Either you control your habits or your habits control you. Discipline is what separates the two. Without discipline, habits of comfort take over. You start skipping small tasks, telling yourself it doesn't matter, and before you know it, inconsistency becomes your normal. But with discipline, you train your mind to do what's needed, not what's easy. You no longer rely on willpower. You create systems that support your goals. You plan your day, manage your energy, and commit to doing what aligns with your vision. Discipline gives you structure, and structure gives you freedom. It allows you to create the life you want instead of reacting to the one that happens to you. The path of discipline is not glamorous. It's often repetitive, quiet, and unseen. There are no instant results, no applause, no immediate rewards. That's why most people abandon it. But the few who stay disciplined build an inner strength that can't be broken. They understand that greatness is not built in moments of excitement, but and hours of persistence. Every time you practice discipline, you're not just completing a task, you're building the foundation of who you are. You're teaching yourself that your word matters, that your effort counts, and that your goals are worth the sacrifice. Discipline is self-respect in action. It's the voice that says, I will not waste my time, I will use it wisely. Discipline also protects your focus from chaos. When you have clear routines and consistent habits, distractions lose their power. You no longer waste time deciding whether to act. You simply act. You remove hesitation from your life. You stop letting temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions. This is how discipline turns time into a weapon of growth. Every hour becomes more meaningful because it's driven by intention. People who lack discipline chase urgency. People with discipline create direction. The difference is not in the number of hours they have, but in how they use them. Discipline ensures that your time serves your purpose instead of your impulses. The truth about discipline is that it's not about restriction, it's about liberation. When you're disciplined, you no longer live at the mercy of distractions or emotions. You gain control over your life because you control your actions. Discipline gives you the ability to choose progress over comfort, consistency over chaos, and purpose over procrastination. It's the bridge between your current self and the person you're trying to become. Every minute you spend in discipline builds a future where your time, energy, and focus are working for you instead of against you. Discipline is not punishment. It's the path to freedom, growth, and lasting achievement. The way you use your time reflects how you value your life. Every second that passes is a piece of your existence that you can never reclaim, and yet most people treat time as if it were infant. IT. They waste hours on distractions, give attention to things that do not move them forward, and then wonder why life feels empty or rushed. Time doesn't wait for anyone. It simply moves. The truth, discipline as your guide. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Discipline also means learning to delay gratification. Most people want results without the process, success without the struggle, and rewards without the work. But life doesn't work that way. Every success is paid for in advance with discipline. You can't skip the process and expect the prize. The reason so few people achieve lasting success is that they quit when the reward isn't immediate. But those who think correctly understand that discipline is an investment. The time you put in today compounds into future results. Every day of effort builds upon the last. You may not see the progress right away, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. Discipline teaches patience, and patience produces power. There's a simple rule that governs success. Either you control your habits or your habits control you. Discipline is what separates the two. Without discipline, habits of comfort take over. You start skipping small tasks, telling yourself it doesn't matter, and before you know it, inconsistency becomes your normal. But with discipline, you train your mind to do what's needed, not what's easy. You no longer rely on willpower. You create systems that support your goals. You plan your day, manage your energy, and commit to doing what aligns with your vision. Discipline gives you structure, and structure gives you freedom. It allows you to create the life you want instead of reacting to the one that happens to you. The path of discipline is not glamorous. It's often repetitive, quiet, and unseen. There are no instant results, no applause, no immediate rewards. That's why most people abandon it. But the few who stay disciplined build an inner strength that can't be broken. They understand that greatness is not built in moments of excitement, and hours of persistence. Every time you practice discipline, you're not just completing a task, you're building the foundation of who you are. You're teaching yourself that your word matters, that your effort counts, and that your goals are worth the sacrifice. Discipline is self-respect in action. It's the voice that says, I will not waste my time, I will use it wisely. Discipline also protects your focus from chaos. When you have clear routines and consistent habits, distractions lose their power. You no longer waste time deciding whether to act. You simply act. You remove hesitation from your life. You stop letting temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions. This is how discipline turns time into a weapon of growth. Every hour becomes more meaningful because it's driven by intention. People who lack discipline chase urgency. People with discipline create direction. The difference is not in the number of hours they have, but in how they use them. Discipline ensures that your time serves your purpose instead of your impulses. The truth about discipline is that it's not about restriction, it's about liberation. When you're disciplined, you no longer live at the mercy of distractions or emotions. You gain control over your life because you control your actions. Discipline gives you the ability to choose progress over comfort, consistency over chaos, and purpose over procrastination. It's the bridge between your current self and the person you're trying to become. Every minute you spend in discipline builds a future where your time, energy, and focus are working for you instead of against you. Discipline is not punishment. It's the path to freedom, growth, and lasting achievement. The way you use your time reflects how you value your life. Every second that passes is a piece of your existence that you can never reclaim, and yet most people treat time as if it were infinite. They waste hours on distractions, give attention to things that do not move them forward, and then wonder why life feels empty or rushed. Time doesn't wait for anyone. It simply moves. The way you use your time reflects how you value your life. Every second that passes is a piece of your existence that you can never reclaim. And yet most people treat time as if it were infinite. They waste hours on distractions, give attention to things that do not move them forward, and then wonder why life feels empty or rushed. Time doesn't wait for anyone. It simply moves. The truth is, everyone is given the same 24 hours in a day, but how you think about and use those hours determines everything about your future. Some people turn their time into success, knowledge, and peace of mind, while others turn it into regret. Time management isn't really about managing hours. It's about managing yourself, your focus, and your priorities. When you understand the value of time, you begin to see that every decision is an investment. Each hour you spend has a cost and a potential return. Most people waste time because they don't measure it. They think they have plenty of it, but time disappears quietly. The small moments you waste each day scrolling endlessly, complaining, procrastinating, become the reason your bigger goals stay unfinished. You don't lose time in days, you lose it in minutes. And the moment you start respecting your minutes, your entire life changes. The ones who master time are not the busiest, they are the most intentional. They know what matters and they protect their focus from anything that doesn't align with it. Time rewards clarity. If you wake up each day without direction, you'll find yourself reacting to everything around you instead of creating what you want. People who use their time effectively are not necessarily smarter. They are just more aware of what deserves their attention. They say no to distractions without guilt. They know that every yes to something meaningless is a no to something valuable. They don't chase everything. They choose what matters. This clarity gives them power because while others are busy being busy, they are busy being effective. They use time as a weapon of focus, not a container for chaos. It's easy to think that working longer means using time wisely, but that's not true. Working longer often means working inefficiently. Productivity isn't about how much you do, it's about how much you accomplish. Many people fill their days with activity and mistake it for progress, but movement isn't progress if it's in the wrong direction. The key to using time well is learning to prioritize. Not every task deserves your energy. Some things are urgent but not important. Some things are important but not urgent. Wise people focus on the latter. They don't let distractions disguise themselves as responsibilities. They understand that the quality of their results depends on the quality of their focus, not the quantity of their effort. You must also realize that how you use your mornings often determines how you use your life. The early hours are pure, quiet, and full of potential. Most people waste them. They rush through their mornings, already reacting to messages, noise, and demands. But those who understand time treat mornings as sacred. They plan, reflect, and align their minds before the world interferes. The way you begin your day sets the rhythm for everything that follows. If you start with intention, you'll move with clarity. If you start with distraction, you'll spend the rest of the day trying to catch up. Time doesn't favor those who rush. It favors those who prepare. Another truth about time is that people often underestimate how much of it they waste on worry. Thinking about what might happen instead of acting on what can happen is one of the biggest thieves of time. Fear and hesitation drain more hours than failure ever will. While others are overthinking, someone else is taking action and learning from experience. The more you act, the more you understand. The more you understand, the faster you grow. Every moment you hesitate is a moment you could have used to improve. Time doesn't reward perfection, it rewards progress. Every small step taken consistently compounds into massive change over time. Time also teaches you humility. You can't buy more of it, and you can't negotiate with it. No matter how successful you become, time remains your most valuable and limited asset. This realization should not make you anxious. It should make you intentional. It should make you careful about who you spend your time with, what you give your attention to, and how you structure your days. Surrounding yourself with people who waste time will drag you into their habits. Surrounding yourself with people who value time will push you to use it wisely. Time reflects environment, and your environment shapes how you think. Choose carefully. Using time correctly also means balancing effort and rest. Too many people either work endlessly and burn out or avoid effort and never progress. The correct use of time lies in rhythm, knowing when to push and when to pause. The mind, like a muscle, needs recovery to stay strong. Rest isn't a waste of time when it's purposeful. It's what keeps your energy sustainable. When you plan your rest with the same seriousness as your work, you create harmony instead of exhaustion. Using time wisely doesn't mean filling every minute with noise. It means ensuring every minute has meaning. Ultimately, time is the most honed. Yes, teacher. It reveals what you truly care about. Whatever you give your hours to becomes your life's result. You can tell someone's priorities not by their words, but by how they use their time. If you value growth, you'll spend time learning. If you value family, you'll spend time being present. If you value success, you'll spend time building. And if you value nothing, your time will vanish into distractions. Every minute is a mirror, reflecting what matters most to you. Those who learn to use time correctly don't just fill their days, they build their destiny minute by minute. Success is not built in the hours you work, but in how you choose to think about those hours. Some people spend an entire day working hard and still achieve little because their mind is scattered, while others achieve massive progress in a few focused hours because their mind is aligned. The greatest difference between those who grow and those who stay stuck is not intelligence or opportunity, it's mental direction. The way you think determines how you use time, and the way you use time determines the quality of your life. When you begin to think correctly about time, you stop seeing it as something to kill and start seeing it as something to cultivate. You realize that time isn't an enemy chasing you, it's a partner waiting to be guided. Most people rush through their days as if speed equals success, but the truth is clarity is what creates progress, not speed. The faster you move without direction, the farther you drift from your real goals. The most powerful way to use your time begins with awareness. Awareness of what matters most, awareness of how you spend your hours, and awareness of what drains your focus. Every moment you spend unconsciously is a moment lost to distraction. Modern life thrives on taking your attention. Every notification, every advertisement, every piece of content competes for your time. And without awareness, you lose control of your most valuable resource. Thinking correctly means pausing before reacting. It means asking yourself, is this worth my time? Before you say yes, it means being deliberate about where your energy flows. Because time follows focus, and focus follows thought. When your thinking becomes disciplined, your time becomes powerful. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they can multitask their way to success. Multitasking is not a sign of efficiency, it's a sign of scattered focus. Every time you switch tasks, you lose a bit of clarity, a bit of energy, and a bit of time. The mind works best in deep focus, not divided attention. Those who understand time learn to work in silence, to guard their mental space like treasure, to say no without guilt. They don't allow constant interruptions to dictate their rhythm. They create blocks of undisturbed time where their best ideas are born. Thinking correctly about time means realizing that doing less with full focus creates more results than doing more with half attention. You must also train your mind to see time as an opportunity, not as pressure. Many people feel anxious when they think about limited time. They say, I don't have enough time. But that's not true. You have exactly the same amount of time as the most successful people in history. The difference is how they think about it. They see time as abundance, as a canvas to create on, not as a prison to escape from. This shift in mindset turns stress into energy because when you believe you control your time, you act differently. You stop wasting it on complaints. You stop comparing your timeline to others. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You begin to value each moment as a chance to move one step closer to who you want to be. Thinking correctly removes the illusion of busyness and replaces it with the clarity of purpose. The correct way to think about time is also to understand that it compounds. Just like money grows through interest, action grow through consistency. Small, smart choices made daily add up to enormous results over time. 1 hour of focused learning every day becomes hundreds of hours of mastery in a year. One habit repeated daily becomes part of your identity. But the problem is people underestimate the power of small steps. They waste today because they believe tomorrow will be better. They forget that the future is built one present moment at a time. Thinking correctly means respecting the small things. It means understanding that every little choice contributes to your bigger destiny. You don't need to make giant leaps to change your life. You need to make consistent steps in the right direction. You also have to learn to think long term. Short-term minds look for quick rewards, while long-term thinkers use time to build something lasting. The greatest opportunities are invisible to those who rush. They reveal themselves slowly to those who have the patience to wait and the wisdom to prepare. Long-term thinkers use time to grow instead of to impress. They plant seeds that will take years to bloom, knowing that real success is never instant. They understand that delay does not mean denial. It means development. This kind of thinking transforms impatience into strategy. It teaches you that time is not something to escape, but something to align with. When you align your efforts with time instead of fighting against it, growth becomes inevitable. To think correctly about time, you must also separate urgency from importance. The world constantly demands your immediate attention, messages, meetings, notifications, but not everything urgent is important. Thinking clearly allows you to pause before reacting and ask, does this move me closer to my purpose? If it doesn't, you learn to let it go. You stop chasing everything and start choosing carefully. You stop trying to do more and start trying to do what matters. Every yes must be earned by 1,000 intentional no's. This mental discipline gives you back your time. It creates space for creativity, reflection, and deep work, the kind of work that changes your life. Instead,